Alright, this question is asking us to create a quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals y from the table of values provided. And they want to know specifically what is the value of a in this case. Alright, this is one of the more complicated questions that you will run into. You need to solve quite a bit. I would start with the y-intercept, which is where x equals 0. And that is a very good row to begin your work. So I'm trying to solve for a, right? Let me write out the equation. Y equals a x squared plus bx plus c. All right, well, to find a, you need to actually solve for all of it. You need to find the equation. So the first thing I would do is just plug in some numbers I know. So you're given all these points in this table. All of these are valid points, so you can plug any of them in. I picked the easiest ones generally. I'm going to start with 0. So y equals a times x. So instead of x, I'm going to plug in the 0 here. Squared plus b times x. Again, it's 0. And then I have the plus c. Okay, so I don't know what a, b, and c are, but I do know what x and y are. So I'm actually going to replace this y here out front by the y I know, which is just 7. Right? So I know when x equals 0, y equals 7, based on this row of the table. All right, so let's go ahead and solve. 7 equals, well, a times 0 squared is just 0, plus b times 0, plus c. Well, a times 0 is actually just 0, and b times 0 is also 0, plus c. So these become nothing, and I now have at least my c value, which is 7, and that will help me later on. So I'm going to write that down up top here, c equals 7, and then I need to keep solving. Next, you can just plug in another point. So I'm going to pick another easy point, 1 and 12. So when x is 1, the output, the y, is 12. Again, I'm going to write that equation up top. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Plug in the points I know. X is 1 now. So y equals a times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c. So again, I just plugged in that 1 into my values for x. And again, I'm going to replace the y up front here, actually, by the y I know that I get out, which is 12. Okay, so now I'm going to solve it. 12 equals, well, 1 squared is just 1, so it's 1a plus, and then 1 times b is also just 1b. And then instead of putting c here, because that's too many variables to solve for, I actually know c, remember? I know c is 7. Plug that in. Okay, so right now I have 12 equals, 1a is just the same as a by itself, and then 1b is the same as b by itself, plus 7 equals 12. Great. Well, I still have two variables. I can't solve it 100% yet. I'm almost there, but I want to get those two variables by themselves at least. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. This side zeroes out, so I get a plus b equals 12 minus 7 is just 5. Okay, so I have another great little simple equation that I can use later on. I'm going to write it up here. A plus b equals 5. I'm going to put a box around that. That's really important. Since I have two variables, I need two equations to solve them. I need one more equation. Let's pick another point. I'm going to pick another easy point down here. Let's do 2 and 19. Okay, that's pretty simple. It's keeping it positive. So I'm plugging in my 2 now for x. A, and then instead of x, let's write the 2 in there. Squared plus b times 2 plus c, and instead of c, remember, I know what c is. It's right here, 7. So let's put the 7 in. And then instead of y up front, let's plug in what I know there, because I know from down here that y is 19 when x equals 2. Perfect. So I've plugged in everything correctly. Let's go ahead and solve. 19 equals, now 2 squared is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So I have 4a And then 2 times b, I can just write it as 2b plus 7 is still there. Let's go ahead and subtract the 7 out to get everything a little easier. And on one side there, 19 minus 7 is just 12 equals 4a plus 2b. That is the other equation I want. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, I have these two equations, right here and right here. That still doesn't give me the answer. Well, it can, and it almost will. Let's keep this equation. I'm going to write it over here. 12 equals 4a plus 2b. I'm going to keep that. And let me erase this stuff over here. Now, if you remember how to solve any system of equations, you might be able to do this on your own. Basically, we're going to plug one of these equations into the other one. This one is significantly simpler, so we're going to plug that one into the more complicated one. Let's isolate one of the variables. So I'm going to start up here. A plus b equals 5. Let's get one of the variables by itself. I'm going to subtract b from both sides, which gives me a equals, they're canceled here, 5 minus b, but that's kind of confusing. I want to switch the b up front, so I'm going to rewrite it as negative b plus 5. I'm just switching the order here. You can think of this as plus negative b, and then I just flipped it around. Okay, now I'm going to plug this in to a right there, right? Because I know that's what a equals, and then my resulting equation will only have the variable b in it. Okay, so here we go. 12 equals 4 times, and a, remember from right here, is negative b plus 5 plus 2b. Now we simplify. 12 equals, I need to distribute that 4, so I get negative 4b. 4 times 5 is plus 20, positive 20. And then I still have a 2b right here. Great. Combine like terms, so I have a negative 4b and a positive 2b, which gives me 12 equals negative 2b, right? So negative 4 plus 2 still is negative 2, and that's b, plus 20. Almost done. I'm going to take it from the top up here. 12 equals negative 2b plus 20. Last step, subtract 20 from both sides. These cancel. So I actually just end up with negative 2b on the right side of the equation and negative 8. 12 minus 20 is negative 8 on the left side. I'm going to divide by negative 2 now, both sides. And you get one of your answers. B equals negative 8 divided by negative 2 gives you a positive 4. Perfect. Okay, very, very last step. I know this has been a long one. If you plug in that b right here, you will get your answer. A plus b equals 5. All right, let's solve that. Well, let me just plug in the 4 as b. So a plus 4 equals 5. Subtract 4 from both sides, and you'll get a equals 5 minus 4, 1. And so my answer here is just 1.